Hello and welcome to the Verbal Teacup. And I am back again with a new poem. And this time it is one of my very favorite poems from Robert Frost. And why I'm choosing Robert Frost's poem, one, that he's a very famous poet. And the second is because last year, in the CAT, a Fire and Ice poem came. And that was the poem called Fire and Ice. And it was written by Robert Frost. So, just to give you an overview of his kind of writing, make you more familiar, so this poem comes here. And, so this poem is something that you might have read in school also. So, very famous. So, it's called as The Road Not Taken. And it starts with two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Now, yellow wood means like in a forest, and yellow means it's already autumn time, right? The leaves are yellowing. And sorry, I could not travel both. So the author says that I could not travel on both the roads. They diverged, they moved. It was like a fork, like a Y. They moved into two different directions. So you can just visualize. And sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood and looked down one as far as I could. So he had to be one traveler, means he had to travel only one road. So he stood for a very long time looking at the roads as far as he could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Undergrowth meaning the forest, the plants and the shrubs, etc. The undergrowth. Undergrowth meaning below the trees, right? The shrubs and the grasses. And so he looked at one road for a very long time to where it bent, means where it turned. And then I took the other, and just as fair. And but he did not go on that road on which he stood for a long time looking. He took the other road, was just as good, just as fair, meaning just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim. And here it is saying that the road was better to be claimed, means better to be taken. Okay, because it was grassy and wanted wear. The other road was traveled. So, the road was very clear in which he was looking at, the first one. The second road had a better claim to be taken because it was grassy, means very few people, maybe nobody had walked on it, and it wanted wear, means it wanted that somebody should walk on it, right? And though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. So what was happening, that for that passing there, means for the people who had passed through that road, they had warned the other one, and both that morning equally lay. So both the roads lay equally good and inviting. In leaves, no step had trodden black. And today's morning, the leaves, and that's why they're talking about the yellow woods, because the leaves have fallen. It is autumn time, and the both the roads were covered with leaves. Okay. The other one was grassy. Few people had walked on it. The first one was a well-walked road, but today they were all fresh because the leaves were there. So nobody had, the road had not become black because of the mud on the leaves. It was all yellow. And yet knowing, and oh, I kept the first for another day. So he kept the road, the first road on which he had looked, for another day. And yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So he said, okay, another day I'll travel on the first road. And he knew, when he was saying that I'll come back to it some other day, he knew that how one way will lead to another. And I doubted if I should ever come back. So he might actually never come back, but he was hopeful that he might take the first road again, some other time. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. And then he says that I knew that I would not be back, and I will be telling this with a sigh, meaning with a heavy heart, with a heart full of feeling. Somewhere ages and ages hence means somewhere after a long time, that two roads diverged in a wood. And he says that I will be telling the story after many years of today, that two roads were diverging in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So, this poet talks about that other road which few people had taken, and he took that road, and that has made all the difference in his life. So it's a beautiful poem with a wonderful message of people who are scared to take, an unknown path, an unknown direction. And I think most of you who are my viewers, who are my subscribers, you are young, you are students, you are, just starting your career, and you always have this path of a very well formed road and another road less taken. So my message to you through this poem, and the poet's message to you, is that don't be scared to take the road less traveled. Someday, after many, many years, you might tell that it made a difference. So this was one poem from my side to you, and especially for your preparation for poetry. Do read more like this, read Robert Frost. I'll come back to you very soon with another poem. And this is all from Meenakshi from my side, from the Verbal Teacup for today. And thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.